You're here for AA, and where are you calling from? And how long have you been sober? Jann to Terrence. Terrence. Can't hear you though.
Where's it?
Now I can hear you. Now
Okay.
I can.
Okay, I'm calling from Boulder.
You don't happen to be a Giants fan, do you?
I happen to be a Giants fan.
He's on a winning streak right now.
I noticed at the expense of my Giants.
Change this. So this is Terry in Boulder. Let's see. Hey, good to see you. And how long are you sober now? You're 35 years, 36, 37?
39.
Wow. 30 years. Okay, cool. I just had a hot dog to celebrate that we're going to watch a baseball game on Sunday. I getting myself ready. Like that. What's that guy's name that wins all the hot dog eating contests?
That I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's
Yeah.
a girl too.
Well, who's the guy? His name is, like, he's from New York.
His name is Jann Scott.
No, I've never entered a hot dog eating contest in my life. A few drinking contests, that was fatal. Like Fatal Glass of Beer by W.C. Fields. It's a 12-minute movie made in 1932 or 3. Hey, Terry, were you ever a fan of W.C. Fields? You ever watch any of his movies, his shorts?
Oh, not in a long time.
Yeah, but back in the day, maybe.
Yeah.
He has one here. I'll make you a co-host. He has one called Fatal Glass of Beer, where he lives in the North Woods, and he has a pet. What is it called? Pet reindeer, and his son is drinking. And actually, the whole thing is about alcoholism, and there's a lesson in it. But W.C. Fields was a terrible alcoholic. So he was really, so I don't think he ever went to AA. In fact, I think he probably died drinking. But so there you go. It was a raging alcoholic is going to do um, a moral story on drinking.
Around town for a while.
Is that a Rocky shirt you have on there?
No.
No, see you.
See you.
Okay. That's good. Okay, how are we doing here? Today is Friday. We're going to finish reading up Bill's story today, too. We started halfway through it. Hi, Christina. How are you? Are you here for the AA meeting? And where are you calling from? How long have you been sober?
Yes, I'm 5 months and some change sober, and I'm just getting ready for work. That's why I don't have my video on.
Anyways, and where are you calling from today?
From El Paso, Texas.
El Paso. Okay. 5 months, El Paso. Welcome aboard. Glad you're here. Hi, Stephen. Hi, how are you? Are you here for the AA meeting? And where are you calling from today?
Yes, I am. I'm calling from Sanger, California, and I'm about a week sober.
1 week sober. Okay, good. I'm glad you're here. Welcome aboard. Christy, how are you, Christy? Are you here for AA, and where are you calling from today?
Hi, all. I sure am. I was just starting to chat something because first time at this meeting. I'm also, well, I'm at work. I am an alcoholic, and I'm calling from East Bay, California.
East Bay. And how long are you sober?
I relapsed
Okay, so you have like working on day one?
pretty much.
Okay, good. So Christy, California, and then would you put down at work? That's good. And who else said that? Christina. She's working too. Let's put that in there so I don't bug her. And,
Thank you.
and wait, there's Christy and Christina. Both of you are at work. Okay, good. Let's see here. Andy, hi, how are you? Are you here for AA, Andy? And where are you calling from today?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm trying to get, my name's Andy and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I don't know why. Uh, anyway, no, I'm not new by any, no, I'm not a newcomer, even though yeah, but I'm glad I'm here. I'll
How
try
long
to
are you
stay
s-
as long as I can. I'm at work too.
Okay, you're at
So,
work. That's okay. How long are you sober now?
let's see, December 14th, I picked up 2 drinks, but I've been in the program for 40 years, but I had to change my sobriety date. So
To what?
fortunately, I didn't get drunk, but I did pick up a couple
Oh,
drinks. So
who's the way it happens? I know I hate it. So what do you have? You have like 5 months, 4 months?
yeah, 4 months. Yeah,
Four
and
months,
I'm at work.
Andy.
Yeah,
And where are you calling from? What state or city?
yeah. I live in well, I'm calling from Lake Mary, Florida,
All right.
but I'm at work right now.
Oh, that's okay. We're going to
So
leave you alone. 5
uh,
months, Florida. You're perfect, man. This is the perfect meeting for you. So hang out. And a lot of people working today. Usually you get off work early on Fridays, especially when it's bright and sunny. Mo. Hey, Mo. What do you know? Oh, not so much. Just got back from a picture show. Mo, how are you? Where are you calling from today, and how long are you sober? I know that's a that's another 30s or 40s. It's a war saying or a prior war. Mo, how are you doing? Are you here for MMA today? And where are you calling from? How long are you sober? Okay, and not certain about Mo, guys. Um, do we have a Mo that comes here who's like he's a cop from New Jersey, and then another Mo that's a Zoom bomber. So we'll just wait and see. Hey, Edward, how are you? Are you here for the AA meeting? And where are you calling from today? How long have you been sober? Jan to Edward, if you could unmute and talk to me for a second. Rebecca, if you could change your name. So Jan to Edward and Jan to Mo. Okay, so I think what we're going to do, I'm going to put Edward Mo in the waiting room. Don't let him in, Rebecca. And I'm going to put Edward in the waiting room. They came in together. And I think they're Zoom bombers. We'll let them sit there. If they hang out, then we can let them back in, but usually bombers don't. Let's talk to JT. We've been getting a lot of Zoom bombers in here recently, incidentally, like 3 a day. Just try to blow the meeting up. JT, how long are you sober now in Luxembourg?
JT, raging, moralizing alcoholic, 286.
Did you say raging, moralizing?
Well, you inspired me, so I thought I'd share your
But there you
inspiration.
go. Yeah, that would be Mr. Moral. Okay, glad you're here. All right, here we go.
Now there's 2 moves in the waiting room.
Another Mo is trying to get in.
Well, let him in. Let them both in. He probably because he was having a hard time getting his computer to work, so he's trying by phone. We let them both in here. I'll talk to him real quick. If you could put up everything to read, Ron, and then in 1 second, I'm going to ask you to read, Matt. Hey, Mo, hi, how are you? Are you here for the AA meeting?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, I wasn't able to unmute and I was trying to message somebody. I'm from Lafayette, Colorado, and I've got about 3 years sober.
Good for you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Sure. And Angel. Hey, what the heck is this? Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. Excuse me, please. I'll just talk to Angel real quick. Hi, Angel. How are you? Are you here for the AA meeting? And where are you calling from? How long you been sober? Yes. Jan to Angel. Angel baby,
I think she
my
left.
angel baby. What?
I think she left.
Oh, she left. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn your cameras on. Let's see here. Excuse me, start video. You guys can turn your cameras on, and if you guys watch the room, and over to Matt. Matt's going to explain to everybody how this meeting works.
Hey, Mad Alcoholic. Welcome to Newcomers Slipper Step Workshop. If you're new to AA or coming back, this is the meeting for you. This group is exactly what the name says, a workshop. We read 6 AA books, work the steps, sponsor you, and give reading and writing assignments. We'll teach you an AA program. We move right along here and people get well here. Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop is a step workshop. Unlike most AA meetings, it's not a speaker's meeting nor a discussion meeting. It's more like an AA class, AA 101, AA University. You want to have the attitude of learning and do the assigned reading and writing on the steps. We'll take you through the steps and AA books in short order. So if you're looking for guidance and direction in an AA program, this is the meeting for you. Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop is a very unique meeting since we use the same principles AA used between 1932 and 1939. Everybody works in the group and moves through the 12 steps to live our lives free from alcohol and learn a new way of living. We're glad you could make it. Here, for newcomers, there's a link to the newcomers packet in chat. Security for Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop. We have cameras and chat turned off. You can chat only with the co-hosts. We do all of the above for safety reasons. Zoom bombers try to get in, and this eliminates them. We don't allow group sharing in chat or exchange of phone numbers. This is an AA step class, and since everyone's new here, we want to protect you. Meeting confirmation. Here's our email for meeting confirmation. stepworkshop1@gmail.com. And this is good for school, class, work, probation, court orders, etc. Announcements, 7th tradition, contributions. You can make donations to @Jann-Scott in Venmo or using the Cash App, JackFox111999, or PayPal, which is good for international, to Jann Scott, janscottlive@gmail.com, 720-646-6131. Contributions go to pay for Zoom, Boulder 1AA, Boulder County AA, OIO AA Intergroup, and Father Terry's work. We offer free books to those in need. We spend about $350 a month every month. Suggested donations are $1 to $2 per meeting, or the price of a 12-pack of Bud 12 ounces per month, $18.99. This group meets daily with the following formats. Monday is 12 by 12, step study. Tuesday's Big Book. Wednesday as Bill sees it, and it's Sunglass Wednesday. Thursday's Came to Believe, and it's Dog Thursday. Today, Friday, is open, the chair picks the topic, and it's Cat Friday. Saturday is Living Sober, and Sunday, Daily Reflections. AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We're self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Please join me in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. If you're new to this meeting, please come for 5 days and see how you like it, and then we'll put you to work. Note this meeting is recorded with audio only for our podcast on YouTube channel. There's no video pictures or names shown, so no one will know you're here. Our podcast is YouTube channel, Newcomers Slipper Step Workshop AA Meeting, and there's a link to the YouTube channel in chat. And finally, everyone, please introduce yourself as an alcoholic when speaking, and thanks for being here. With that, back to you, Jay, in the studio.
Hey, thank you for reading. So May, are you on your computer or are you on your phone?
I'm on an iPad.
Well, it should be right there. It just tells you how to change your name. Hey, iPhone, how are you? Where are you calling from? And how long have you been sober? And are you here for AA? Oh,
Yes, I am. I'm Sheila. I'm an alcoholic and I'm really stressed. Um I'm from New York, so maybe I can share later. I'm really
I just wanted to
struggling.
know, you're from New York, and how long are you sober?
One day, first
One
day.
day, okay. Working on day one. Sheila from New York. Are you from Manhattan, or where are you?
No, upstate New York.
Upstate. Okay, that's where Matt's
Mm.
from. All
Oh,
right.
good.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah, working on day one. Poor May is trying to figure out how. Would somebody send her a message how to change my name on an iPhone? Okay. Stephen, we got everybody here. So, hey Jeff, good to see you. I see that you're still sober. That's excellent. Uh, so let's see here. Let me just look at this really quick. Well, Matt really explained what this meeting is all about. So I'm not going to say any more about it, except that today's Friday and it's Cat Friday. So if you happen to have a cat, this would be the day where you could let your cat wander around and interrupt the meeting and get on your keyboard. Um, and we have that because some people insist on talking about their cats at meetings. So we've devoted one day to cats. And then that would be Friday. Thursday is devoted to dogs for dog people. Now, where did we leave off reading in Bill's story yesterday?
In the middle of page 7.
The middle of page 7. Can you put a link to Bill's story up, please? In the middle of page 7. So we discussed it a little bit yesterday, talking about Bill was from New York City. He was a financier. He was doing business with people like J.P. Morgan himself, John D. Rockefeller, and he had traveled across the United States on a 1927 Harley Davidson with his wife, Lois, and he was trying to do stock deals, but he was having a heck of a time staying sober, and he kept ending up in the town's hospital. He was in Bellevue. He was also a World War I veteran and hero. He was in disastrous shape. So we pick up from Bill's story here, and it relieved me somewhat. Hey, Terry, you want to start reading with that third paragraph? It relieved me somewhat.
Okay. My name is Terry. I'm an alcoholic. Page 7 of the big book. It relieved me somewhat to learn that in alcoholics, the will is amazingly weakened when it comes to combating liquor, though it often remains strong in other respects. My incredible behavior in the face of a desperate desire to stop was explained. Understanding myself now, I fared forth in high hopes. For 3 or 4 months, the goose hung high. I went to town regularly and even made a little money. Surely this was the answer, self-knowledge. But it was not, for the frightful day came when I drank once more. The curve of my declining moral and bodily health fell off like a ski jump. After a time, I returned to the hospital. This was the finish, the curtain, it seemed to me. My weary and despairing wife was informed that it would all end with heart failure during delirium tremens, or I would develop a wet brain, perhaps within a year. She would soon have to give me over to the undertaker or the asylum. They did not need to tell me. I knew and almost welcomed the idea. It was a devastating blow to my pride. I, who had thought so well of myself and my abilities, of my capacity to surmount obstacles was cornered at last. Now I was to plunge into the dark, joining that endless procession of sots who had gone on before. I thought of my poor wife. There had been much happiness after all. What would I not give to make amends? But that was over now. Okay? You're mute.
I know people get sick of me and they mute me in here. Go ahead, Matt.
No words
Raise
can
your hand
tell.
to read, please. Yep, go ahead.
No words can tell of the loneliness and despair I found in that bitter morass of self-pity. Quicksand stretched around me in all directions. I had met my match. I had been overwhelmed. Alcohol was my master. Trembling, I stepped from the hospital a broken man. Fear sobered me for a bit. Then came the insidious insanity of that first drink on Armistice Day, 1934, and I was off again. Everyone became resigned to the certainty that I would have to be shut up somewhere or would stumble along to a miserable end. How dark it is before the dawn. In reality, that was the beginning of my last debauch. I was soon to be catapulted into what I like to call the fourth dimension of existence. I was to know happiness, peace, and usefulness in a way of life that is incredibly more wonderful as time passes. Near the end of that bleak November, I sat drinking in my kitchen. With a certain satisfaction, I reflected there was enough gin concealed around the house to carry me through that night and the next day. My wife was at work. I wondered whether I dared hide a full bottle of gin near the head of the bed. I would need it before daylight. My musing was interrupted by the telephone. The cheery voice was an old school friend, asked me if he might come over. He was sober. It was years since I could remember his coming to New York in that condition. I was amazed. Rumor had it that he had been committed for alcoholic insanity. I wondered how he had escaped. Of course, he would have dinner, and then I could drink openly with him. Unmindful of his welfare, I thought only of the recapturing the spirit of the other days. There was that big time we had chartered an airplane to complete a jag. His coming was an oasis in this dreary desert of futility. This very thing, an oasis. Drinkers are like that. The door opened and he stood there, fresh-skinned and glowing. There was something about his eyes. He was inexplicably different. What had happened? I pushed a drink across the table and he refused it. Disappointed but curious, I wondered what he had got into the fellow. He wasn't himself. Come on, what's this all about? I queried. He looked straight at me, simply but smilingly. He said, I got religion. I was aghast. So that was it. Last summer, an alcoholic crackpot. Now I suspected a little cracked about religion. He had that starry-eyed look. Yes, the old boy was on fire, all right. But bless his heart, let him rant. Besides, my gin could last longer than his preaching. But he did no ranting. In a matter-of-fact way, he told how two men had appeared in court persuading the judge to suspend his commitment. They had told of a simple religious idea and a practical program of action. That was 2 months ago, and the result was self-evident. It worked.
Stop right there, and we'll go over to May. Go ahead, May. If you'd read a page, please.
Okay.
Or more.
May, alcoholic. He had come to pass his experience along to me, if I cared to have it. I was shocked but interested. Certainly I was interested. I had to be, for I was hopeless. He talked for hours. Childhood memories rose before me. I could almost hear the sound of the preacher's voice as I sat on still Sundays, way over there on the hillside. There was a proffered temperance pledge I never signed. My grandfather's good-natured contempt of some church folk and their doings, his insistence that spheres really had their music, but his denial of the preacher's right to tell him how he must listen, his fearlessness as he spoke of these things just before he died, these reconciliations welled up from the past. They made me swallow hard. The wartime day in old Winchester Cathedral came back again. I had always believed in a power greater than myself. I had often pondered these things. I was not an atheist. Few people really are, for that means blind faith in the strange proposition that this universe originated in cipher and aimlessly rushes nowhere. My intellectual heroes, the chemists, the astronomers, even the evolutionists, suggested vast laws and forces at work. Despite contrary indications, I had little doubt that a mighty purpose and rhythm underlay all. How could there be so much of a precise, immutable law and no intelligence? I simply had to believe in a spirit of the universe who knew neither time nor limitation. But that is as far as I had gone. With ministers in the world's religions, I parted right there. When they talked of a God personal to me, who was love, superhuman strength, and direction, I became irritated and my mind snapped shut across such a theory. Pass.
Okay, go ahead, Kelly. You're up. We have to unmute Kelly. Okay.
Kelly Alcoholic, thank you for letting me read. To Christ I conceded the certainty of a great man, not too closely followed by those who claimed him. His moral teaching most excellent. For myself, I had adopted those parts which seemed convenient and not too difficult. The rest I disregarded. The wars which had been fought, the burning and chicanery that religious dispute had facilitated, made me sick. I honestly doubted whether, on balance, the religions of mankind had done any good. Judging from what I had seen in Europe and since, the power of God in human affairs was negligible. The brotherhood of man, a grim jest. But there was a devil. He seemed the boss universal, and he certainly had me. But my friend sat before me, and he made the point-blank declaration that God had done for him what he could not do for himself. His human will had failed. Doctors had pronounced him incurable. Society was about to lock him up. Like myself, he had admitted complete defeat. Then he had, in effect, been raised from the dead, suddenly taken from the scrap heap to a level of life better than the best he had ever known. Had this power originated in him? Obviously it did not. There had been no power in him that there was in me at that minute, and this was none at all. That floored me. It began to look as though religious people were right after all. Here was something at work in a human heart which had done the impossible. My ideas about miracles were drastically revised right then. Never mind the musty past. Here sat a miracle directly across the kitchen table. He shouted great tidings. I saw that my friend was much more than inwardly reorganized. He was on a different footing. His roots grasped new soil. Pass.
Oh. Okay, go ahead, Sam. Thank you for reading.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Sam, grateful alcoholic. I saw that my friend was much more than inwardly. Reorganized, he was on a different footing. His roots grasped a new soil. Despite the living example of my friend, there remained in me the vestiges of my old prejudice. The word God still aroused a certain antipathy. When the thought was expressed that there might be a God personal to me, this feeling was intensified. I didn't like the idea. I could go for such conceptions as creative intelligence, universal mind, or spirit of nature, but I resisted the thought of a czar of the heavens, however loving his sway might be. I have since talked with scores of men who felt the same way. My friend suggested what then seemed a novel idea. He said, "Why don't you choose your own conception of God?" That statement hit me hard. It melted the icy intellectual mountain in whose shadow I had lived and shivered many years. I stood in the sunlight at last. It was only a matter of being willing to believe in a power greater than myself. Nothing more was required of me to make my beginning. I saw that growth could start from that point. Upon a foundation of complete willingness, I might build what I saw in my friend. Would I have it? Of course I would. Thus, was I convinced that God is concerned with us humans when we want him though enough. At long last I saw, I felt, I believed. Scales of pride and prejudice fell from my eyes. A new world came into view. The real significance of my experience in the cathedral burst upon me. For a brief moment, I had needed and wanted God. There had been a humble willingness to have Him with me, and He came. But soon the sense of His presence had been bloated out by worldly clamors, mostly those within myself, and so it had been ever since. How blind I had been.
Okay, Roman, you're up. Thank you.
I'm Ron. I'm an alcoholic. At the hospital, I was separated from alcohol for the last time. Treatment seemed wise, for I showed signs of delirium tremens. There I humbly offered myself to God, as I then understood him, to do with me as he would. I placed myself unreservedly under his care and direction. I admitted for the first time that of myself I was nothing, that without him I was lost. I ruthlessly faced my sins and became willing to have my newfound friend take them away, root and branch. I have not had a drink since. My schoolmate visited me, and I fully acquainted him with my problems and deficiencies. We made a list of people I had hurt and toward whom I had felt resentment. I expressed my entire willingness to approach these individuals, admitting my wrong. Never was I to be critical of them. I was to right all matters such to the utmost of my ability. I was to test my thinking by the new God consciousness within. Common sense would thus become uncommon sense. I was to sit quietly when in doubt, asking only for direction and strength to meet my problems as he would have me. Never was I to pray for myself, except as my requests bore on my usefulness to others. Then only might I expect to receive, but that would be in great measure. My friend promised when these things were done, I would enter upon a new relationship with my Creator, that I would have the elements of a way of living which answered all my problems. Belief in the power of God, plus enough willingness, honesty, and humility to establish and maintain the new order of things were the essential requirements. And thank you.
To you, JT.
All right, JT still alcoholic. Simple but not easy. A price had to be paid. It meant destruction of self-centeredness. I must turn in all things to the Father of light who presides over us all. These were revolutionary and drastic proposals, but the moment I fully accepted them, the effect was electric. There was a sense of victory, followed by such a peace and serenity I had never known. There was utter confidence. I felt lifted up as though the great clean wind of a mountaintop blew through and through. God comes to most men gradually, but his impact on me was sudden and profound. For a moment, I was alarmed and called my friend, the doctor, to ask if I were still sane. He listened in wonder as I talked. Finally, he shook his head, saying, "Something has happened to you. I don't understand, but you'd better hang on to it. Anything is better than the way you were." The good doctor now sees many men who have such experiences. He knows that they are real. While I lay in the hospital, the thought came that there were thousands of hopeless alcoholics who might be glad to have what I had been so freely given, what had been so freely given me. Perhaps I could help some of them. They in turn might work with others. Should I keep going, or that's almost the end of the
Keep reading.
My friend had emphasized the absolute necessity of demonstrating these principles in all my affairs. Particularly was it imperative to work with others as he had worked with me. Faith without works was dead, he said, and I was and how appallingly true for the alcoholic. For if an alcoholic failed to perfect and enlarge his spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice for others, he could not survive the certain trials and low spots ahead. If he did not work, he would surely drink again, and if he drank, he would surely die. Then faith would be dead indeed. With us, it is just like that.
To Jeff, you want to pick it up from there, Jeff? My wife and I, page 15.
Yeah, gotcha. Jeff Alcoholic, page 15. Bill's story. Jeff Alcoholic. My wife and I abandoned ourselves with enthusiasm to the idea of helping other alcoholics to a solution of their problems. It was fortunate for my old business associates to remain skeptical for a year and a half, during which time I found little work. I was not too well at the time and was plagued by waves of self-pity and resentment. This sometimes nearly drove me back to drink, but I soon found that when all other measures failed, work with another alcoholic would save the day. Many times I have gone to my old hospital in despair. On talking to a man there, I would be amazingly lifted up and set on my feet. It is a design for living that works in rough going. We commenced to make many fast friends, and a fellowship has grown up among us, of which it is a wonderful thing to feel a part. The joy of living we really have, even under pressure and difficulty. I have seen hundreds of families set their feet on the path that really goes somewhere, have seen the most impossible domestic situations righted, feuds and bitterness of all sorts wiped out. I have seen men come out of asylums and resume a vital place in the lives of their families and communities. Business and professional men have regained their standing. There is scarcely any form of trouble and misery which has not been overcome among us. In one Western city and in its environs, there are 1,000 of us in our families. We meet frequently so that newcomers may find the fellowship they seek. At these informal gatherings, one may often see, from 50 to 100 persons. We are growing in number and power. An alcoholic in his cups is an unlovely creature. Our struggles with them are variously strenuous, comic, and tragic. One poor chap committed suicide in my house. He could not or would not see our way of life. There is, however, a vast amount of fun about it all. I suppose someone would be shocked at our seeming worldliness and levity, but just underneath there is deadly earnestness. Faith has to work 24 hours a day, and through us, or we perish. Most of us feel we need to look no further for utopia. We have it here with us right here and now. Each day, my friends, simple talk in our kitchen multiplies itself in a widening circle of peace on earth and goodwill to men. That's from Bill W., co-founder of AA. He died January 24th, 1971. End of that chapter. Thank you for letting me read.
Thank you. Thanks for reading. Jeff, hey, I'm Jann, alcoholic. So if you could go back through this and underline one or two or three things that stood out for you in this chapter, and we're just going to go around the room and see what everybody got out of this. I am Jann, alcoholic. I'm reminded again. I mean, he really talks about having this. He talks about this fresh wind blowing in, having a huge religious experience. God has seemed to come to him. He's never had a drink since then. It was a major change, and lots of different references. He talks about our 12th step on page 14. Then he directly references again the book of James, which is, I think, somebody told me that they changed the name of that. I don't know. About this business about faith without work is dead. Works is dead. So what happened to him was just pretty remarkable. And the same thing actually happened to me. And the thing that I really got from this is that as he's explaining the program to everybody, it's like it's not really a buffet. AA is not meant to be a buffet, although some people treat it that way. They'll do step 1 and 12, but it's the hard work that takes place in going through all of this. How this huge transformation, and I kind of dawdled around with this. It was only until I found a sponsor who took me through all 12 steps and had a meeting similar to this that I was actually able to go through the whole program and come out the other side. Not just having a step 3 awakening, but resolving what I could in steps 8 and 9 and 10. And that's kind of this particular meeting is designed around that, which takes everybody through all of them and gives you a fighting chance to stay alive forever. So, okay, so we'll go around the room and over. Matt, we'll start with you and we'll just go left to right. What did you get out of this?
I guess one item on the last page, page 16, and the last paragraph, there's, however, a vast amount of fun about it all. And I suppose I would be shocked at our seeming, some would be shocked at our seeming worldliness and levity. And I just say my attitude completely turned around and coming to this meeting, trying, like you said, it's a little bit of insurance, but staying connected with all you guys every day or as much as I can. I've just got a much more positive attitude, even to others. My mother said I'm a different person, just much more present, much more available. I'm not in self-pity, with a bottle of alcohol or something in the garage, I'm just out there a lot more than I was and positive.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm Ron. I'm an alcoholic. Kind of what stood out is bottom of page 13, kind of belief in the power of God, plus enough willingness, honesty, and humility to establish and maintain the new order were essential requirements. And then on 15, it's kind of like it's a design for living that works in rough going, because life certainly has its ups and downs. And this is something that if I continue to expand on the daily and try to help others, that it works on all problems.
Okay, Sam, you're up.
Hey everyone, Sam again, grateful alcoholic. Whenever I read this Bill's story, it just reminds me we have very similar histories or paths through life. Bill obviously was a military officer. I'm a military officer, but even more so, his relationship with God, his relationship with his higher power. I grew up in a religious household. He did as well, of course. But along the way, I became a cynic. Right. It was all about intellect, pragmatism. Right. Believing the physical world and the explanations that we humans have come to drag out of the universe to be the answer, and that has led me to the wrong path. Right, it's led me astray, and really finding AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, this group. You find fellows here, reading not just the different books that we all follow here, but following the steps and abiding by them. It not just rekindled my faith in God and my connection to my higher power, it's really rekindled my spirit, and it's allowed me to not just stay sober, but be positive, right? Like I said, I used to be a cynic. I used to be very pragmatic, I would see negativity in everything. Everyone had a alter ego. They wanted something out of me or whatnot. Now I see the good in people, and my family sees it. My wife sees it, my kids. Yeah, no, I definitely relate to Bill's story. I think it's almost exactly like mine.
Did you know J.P. Morgan and John D. Rockefeller?
Oh man, no, I didn't. But if I did,
I
is
knew
that
their
is that a key to
family.
like
I
knowing
know.
Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, Terry, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Terry, alcoholic. Two things struck me. One is near the top of page 14. He talks about destruction of self-centeredness. I think that is so key. Self-centeredness. It's something that I built up as an alcoholic many, many years. And it's a tricky thing because you don't think you're self-centered. I didn't wake up in the morning saying, today I'm going to be all about me. I'm going to be self-centered. I wouldn't say that. I couch it some other way. But I realized when I sobered up and began to work the steps that self-centeredness has to be worked on a daily basis. And that is fulfilled in something he said, I think, right near the end on page 16. I think he talked about faith has to work 24 hours a day in and through us, or we perish. And I'm reminded that it's an everyday program. Each day I wake up and I cannot rely on yesterday's readings, yesterday's good work, yesterday's meeting, because if I start doing that, I'm going to go right back into self-centeredness, and soon enough I'll drink. And somebody mentioned that he had 40 years. And then he drank. And I hear that. I hear that more than once, and it gives me pause. There's nothing, just because you have 40 years doesn't mean you will never drink again. It might mean that you have a lot of information and a lot of knowledge. Bill says, knowledge avails us nothing. It's an action program. And so I have to work at self-centeredness every day. And one of the ways I know I'm failing is when I get whiny. I whine and complain. I'm not getting my way. But my way may not be a good way. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Terry. Andy, it looks like he's at work. So over to Kelly.
Kelly, alcoholic. What really sticks out to me is paragraph on page 13, when he's talking about testing his God consciousness. Common sense would thus become uncommon sense. I was sick quietly when in doubt, asking only for direction and strength to meet my problems as he would have me. Never was I to pray for myself, except as my request bore on my usefulness to others. And it makes me think about the prayer on page 63, which I also say. So thank you for letting me share.
Perfect. Thanks. Okay, JT, over to you.
Okay, sorry, my screen disappeared. JT
Okay.
Alcoholic, page 7. He thought self-knowledge. Aha, I'm alcoholic. I just don't drink again. So, oh, I'm allergic to seafood. I'm allergic to clams. I just don't eat clams anymore. Well, it doesn't work like that. And then he went into this self-doom nightmare. And then what really caught me is, look, he says, I think it was his friend, was that Roland Hazard? He goes, I've got religion. And so many people here, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I don't understand. I'm not sure if they understand what that means. I guess it means I don't go to church and I reject organized religion, but anyways, that's like a pet peeve I have. I think religion and spirituality are pretty much non-separable. But anyways, and then I love this because I like to argue, especially, if somebody's going to preach to me like a Mormon or somebody in the streets, and then he gets totally disarmed. Why don't you choose your own conception of God? And that's what happened for me in AA. What? I have to pick my own God, however ridiculous? I can't argue with you. I can only argue with myself. That's very powerful. And and then at the end, he talks about we don't have to look for utopia because it's here. I mean, it's like, I don't. Then when he talks about, the spirit of the universe and universal mind, but then he talks about how the God has to work through you. Sorry, my minimal classics studies, the word agape comes up, which is the Greek word for love that divinity has for humanity, and it's sort of loosely translated as charity. And I think there has to be this sort of agape thing, and that's what goes through us and sort of enlightens us and gets us past sort of the God as a clockmaker that he was talking about. And I don't have to get super religious. I just know that there's this power and it goes inside me and it gives me power. And it's like plugging into the higher power, It's like unplugging from the negative alcohol and plugging into the, divine providence. God thing. Anyways, so yeah, it's always good to read this. I learn something every time I read it.
Thank you. Jeff, over to you. Jeff, you're muted. You're muted, Jeff.
Come on.
You're muted.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Okay, Jeff, Alcoholic, South Florida. I want to focus on the what he talks about, following just what the Father Terry talked about, self-centeredness and turning all things over to the Father of Light. It says these were revolutionary and drastic proposals, but and they are, but accept them we must. Well, I look at it is this way: those are the steps. What it says right there. These are revolutionary and drastic. And the way we do this thing is just the way it's being taught here. We learn the steps and we work the steps and we teach the steps so we can understand these drastic and revolutionary things. When I was coming into the rooms, it was like you come here, you keep coming, you get a sponsor, you go make meetings and let sobriety show you, like almost when this says, oh, this with this step I worked today, and that's not working the steps, but how did my thinking be changed by what these things are on the wall, rather than saying grasp these things on the wall, and then live them. So it seems like we're going in the right direction here, and that doesn't seem to be a direction that AA is taking in so many other meetings. Thank you for letting me share that.
This posted up Father of Lights, again from the Book of James. Jim Morrison sings about the Father of Light in a twisted song, but there it is in chat. May, over to you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I muted you. Wait, there you go.
We're good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
May alcoholic. Yeah, I like the bottom of page 13 when it was saying that he needed to approach God with willingness, honesty, and humility in order to really experience his power. I really related to that because even when I had willingness, I was still lying to myself sometimes, and I still had a lot of ego and self-will that was influencing my perception of God, and I wasn't really looking at him as, or her, whoever, as like who they were. I just was, manipulating it in my mind to impose my will. So it really rang a bell on why it wasn't working for me previously when I was trying to work the steps, because I simply just wasn't at that point yet. So that's what stuck out to me. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. I was just looking up willingness, honesty, and humility. More references to that in the other book. Where did he go? Okay. Hey, Stephen, over to you. So what did you get out of this?
Hi, Stephen, alcoholic. I think it was the bottom. Let me pull it up real quick. It was the part where he was talking about hiding a bottle in his room, and his friend came over and he offered him a drink, and he said no, and he was astonished by that, because how quickly his friend changed. And then he questioned him about it, and then he started off pretty smug, but then he was impressed by how his friend was conveying over how he's different, and he went from smug to curious. And then the top of page 10, he said, I was interested and then I was hopeless. So I liked that he went through so many stages in such a quick time, and how impressed he was by his friend's confidence in his newfound way of living.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, he was transformed. The big book calls it, we were reborn. Go ahead, Missy.
Good morning, Missy, alcoholic. I relate to all of it. I love Father Terry's reminder. It's a 24-hour program. I love the last for me, this is what means to me. I left the house here on step 1 a few weeks ago. I've been in the city, been reborn by God. I'm back home on the mountain here with you guys, and I'm on step 11 and I'm sober. So I love the last paragraph. Most of us feel we need no further for utopia. We have it with us right here and right now. Each day, my friends, simple talk in my kitchen multiplies itself in a widening circle of peace on earth and goodwill to men. The end.
That's exactly how I feel. I get up, look at the day, and every day I'm reborn. I'm not the same person that I was when I was inside this miserable body and soul. I had a major transformation as a result of what you just talked about. Excellent. Okay, Mo, you're up next.
Hi, I'm a alcoholic. Yeah, this was awesome. I'm going through my steps again with a new sponsor. So this is great to like reread again. Something that really has hit me is also like the destruction of self-centeredness and also like the willingness, honesty, and humility. Um, there are things I even was talking to my dad this morning about just how much my brain has changed through going through the steps once and also sobriety. And that like when I'm not spiritually fit, self-centeredness, self-centeredness is at the core of my alcoholism. Anything that I could do to relieve myself from like the bondage of myself from my own pain is what I became addicted to. And so like that the most important part to, you know, move on is or to like go through the steps and to be relieved of my defects and also help is to not be so self-centered. So I really appreciate that phrasing of like the destruction of self-centeredness because that's really what's required. So thanks.
Glad you're here. Incidentally, welcome aboard. We meet every day, same bat time, same bat channel. Come for 5 days if you like, and we'll put you to work through all the 12 steps and readings and everything. We usually can get it done in about a month and a half. Sarah, you are up.
Hello, Sarah, alcoholic. So I had underlined on page 11 at the top, it says, "To Christ I conceded the certainty of a great man, not too closely followed by those who claimed him. His moral teaching most excellent. For myself, I had adopted those parts which seemed convenient and not too difficult. The rest I disregarded." And then I underlined the part in the middle where it says, "If there was a devil, he seemed the boss universal, and he certainly had me." And I can relate to that 100%. I picked and chose what I wanted to follow in the Bible. And there's a Bible verse about to be sober and vigilant as the um, enemy, the devil, prowls around waiting for someone to attack. And for me, alcohol is the devil. And so I always keep that visual in mind that I can't let up on my work or I will go back to the bottle. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good job. Rosa in Florida, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Rosa, alcoholic. The mentioning of the higher power, and if you didn't have one, finding one, just thinking of that as working through the steps and understanding for some people that in itself is a step. Identifying what is a higher power for you and being able to identify that and let go just struck me as just a hard thing to do in general. So that's what stuck out most for me in this reading.
That's why we have this, and you just went through it. In our second step process, we come up with 10 attributes of God, creating your own God, because the third step says, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as I understand him. In our second step process, we write about who is God. If God were a best friend, if God were a superhero. So it's a way for us to have somebody tangible that we can talk to and pray with. And I found that it really worked for me. God started. Bill Wilson, there's a tape with Bill Wilson looking up to God, asking him, "Who are you? Would you reveal yourself to me?" So I think we all kind of get to that point. We certainly get to it here. Go ahead, Christina. She's at work. Stacy, how about you? And Stacy's driving. Okay. Uh, yeah, wow. Hey, you guys did a great job. This is like the best AA meeting I've ever been to on Bill's story. It's like, really, everybody thought about this, wrote it out. It's like, whoa, this wasn't one of those, let me tell you how horrible my life is meetings. Any final thoughts from you, Terry? Since you're visiting with us, we have Father Terry visiting with us. He's been attending this meeting since we started 7 years ago.
Well, what strikes me is how committed people sound, sincerely sound in this meeting. That they really want to work this program because they know it's the only thing that's going to save us. I usually go to in-person meetings. I'm doing a little traveling here, so getting on the Zoom. And I need the meetings as reminders. I always need reminders, and I don't quite know what I need to be reminded of, but I always get reminded of something. And just the fact that you're reading the second half of Bill's story, which is the part where I know the first part very well, and I don't need to go back to that so much, but the second part is what one must have to do to start working this program coming out of a rather disinterested spiritual background. And I think I heard a lot of good things. So thank you all.
I have a question for you. So when you got sober, did you have kind of a flash the same way that Bill did? I mean, was there sort of a pronounced way, or was it something different? Or
no, I think I stopped because I was scared of killing myself, which is not really too religious. So really, I stopped out of self-centeredness. I didn't want to die. And so I called AA because I saw myself as having no other way out. And I think what really saved me is I hadn't yet discovered that if I picked up a drink that morning, I would have felt better. And I didn't know that. I had a hangover, and I didn't know that a drink would make me feel better. So I was kind of suicidal, and I called AA. Now, I think that's a higher power at work in my life. But at the time, I wouldn't call it that. I just was all about me not wanting to die.
yeah, I was thrown out of a bar. The only time I ever got thrown out of a bar, and I went home and I thought, boy, I have to do something. And a voice said to me, "Call AA." So I looked it up in the phone book, and there it was in bold. And a guy answered from Alcoholics Anonymous here in Boulder. I went to a meeting the very next day, and that was February 12th, 1975. And I've been going back ever since. I never stopped going. It did take me a bit of time to get quit, but I mean, if that's God's working in my life, then I guess it is. But I sure been coming here, and it's like I didn't have any other place to go. There was no other place. Terry, there was no place I could go to and talk about my alcoholism where people would really understand it and get it. I certainly couldn't talk to my family, and doctors. I tried with them, but they didn't understand.
Yeah.
You want to read the promises there, Matt? Thank you.
Sure. Mad Alcoholic. These are the promises on page 83 of the Big Book. If we're painstaking about this phase of our development, we'll be amazed before we are halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We'll not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We'll comprehend the word serenity and we'll know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we'll see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We'll lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We'll intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We'll suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They'll always materialize if we work for them.
Hey, Jeff, you want to lead us in the Serenity Prayer the way we were talking about the other day?
Yes. Jeff, alcoholic, South Florida. If you care, if you care to join me in the Serenity Prayer, let's have a moment of silence for the still sick and suffering alcoholic, both in the rooms and outside of the rooms. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Well, this meeting is officially over, and if anybody has any questions about AA or this meeting, you can unmute and ask away. We're here every single day, same bat time, same bat channel. Whether it's Christmas, World Series, anything, we're here. You know, it is amazing meeting today, I know.
But you don't
Yes,
have
it
to
is.
worry
Thank
about
you.
the World Series being a Rockies fan, so.
Damn. Wow.
I mean, it would have to be a miracle on just a gigantic order. I'm starting to think today that what if the Rockies won every single game for the next?
What
He
what
left.
about the Dodgers, my friend?
Good thing you didn't bring the Dodgers up in front of Terry, because he thinks the Dodgers are the dark force.
Uh-oh.
And he's like a Giants fan. Steven, are you some kind of baseball fan, or is that a no?
Well, I know of baseball. I don't really follow it a whole lot. I'm more of a boxing UFC guy.
Boxing you. Oh, is that real boxing, or are those cage matches?
Well, I mean, it's funny that you say real boxing because nowadays I think everything's fixed. But
Okay.
I mean, like Tyson time, that was like prime for me anyway. But yeah, UFC's like cage stuff. They call it the octagon.
I boxed for a while. I studied boxing for about 4 years, but I wouldn't let anybody hit me because of my pretty face, you know. I'm serious.
Noticed everyone was very well behaved today with Father Terry in the house.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't get any Zoom bombers. We
No,
got rid of them
everyone.
right out.
I think she was talking
Yeah,
about you, Jan.
okay. I see. Sorry. Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, pretty much you won't hear me cursing. You won't hear me cursing or making any rude comments when he's here.
I gotta run. Thank you so much. Gotta go to another meeting.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Good work.
Take care,
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, man. Sober today. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for the moment of silence. You did that perfect.
I have herpes.
Perfect. He's frozen.
Who has herpes?
Perfect. Oh, here we go.
No,
Father
herpes.
Terry's gone.
I do not have any. I do not have herpes.
At least it's not a Nazi joke. We've gone to.
I was waiting for you too, JT. I'm like, oh, here we go. Where's he?
He was a vegetarian. He drank a lot of tea. He was pretty much a vegan. He also shot up speed and downers.
Wait, who
fairly
did?
Adolf
Who?
Hitler.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
Leave it
Talking
alone.
about speed.
I thought you were talking about John F. Kennedy.
I thought it was Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, there we go. Bingo. Yeah.
He died drinking and drugging. So, May, you're trying to
Suicide.
figure out how to change your name. Oh, did you figure it out? Oh, you did? What do you know about, what do you know about that? That's
Yup. Well, I think someone messaged me and they told me how to do it, so I figured it out.
okay.
Yeah.
Must have been Ron probably messaged you. He's always up to.
Nah, I'm not Mr. Tech on the phone.
I'm a pretty techie person. I had no idea how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, this meeting is where you figure out all the tech stuff.
Yeah.
We're the Doge of AA meetings.
Love it.
The Doge, Doge, Doge of AA. We're the Elon Musk. I'm the Elon Musk of AA chair people. See, Kyle. I always love cracking up JT and Ron.
See you fellas tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's another day.
Vaya con
What's
Dios.
tomorrow's Saturday?
Adios,
See you,
man.
Kelly.
Adios.
What is that behind you there, JT? Yeah, good to see you.
Oh, it was nice and summery today, so I made a California AA
Oh, so it
cat,
is.
cat meeting.
Oh yeah, there you go. Cat meeting. Yeah,
An AA
beautiful.
cat meeting on the beach.
Yeah, it's a little dark, but I like it. Terry leaves with a snarky statement about the said you don't have to worry about the World Series being a holiday because the Rockies are never going to make it. I was like, yeah, I know they are. Well, we're starting to win again. Here we go. And pin this. Oh, there it is. I see. It's a little dark, but I like it. Oh, they must be at the beach at night,
Yeah.
having kind of a night party. Oh, there's some cats. Look at them all on the beach.
Oh,
Yep.
it's not. It's an AA meeting on the beach at night.
Oh, that's it. AA meeting on the beach at night.
In
Perfect.
ancient times, I lived in Santa Cruz, and they'd have like a beach bonfire AA meeting. It was really
Oh
cool.
yeah.
It's cute. It's a good one. I loved it today, T.
Oh,
You love
Yeah. Good one
which part?
today.
Well, I used to go surfing and live near the beach. Now I lived in Luxembourg, where it's rainy and filled with a bunch of phony German-like people.
Funny German like. Oh my God. Are there are there any Wehrmacht things or memorials, or are there any Nazi memorials
Yes.
left?
Well, we have German cemeteries. We have a few of them. And there's one cemetery, it looks like a pagan temple. And they have this gigantic stone cross. It's like 15 feet by 15 feet. And underneath is a collective grave of 5,000 German soldiers. And they have their names written in a circle around the base of the cross.
I mean, what did they
And,
do? They dug a big hole with bulldozers and
they must have done it, yeah. And one time I went there to visit, and there was this Eastern European couple having like drinking wine and eating cheese, having a picnic on the base of the cross. And I was like, that is so disrespectful. But I don't know. I guess they were like victim. I don't know if they were just doing that to get back at the Germans or what, but I was like, damn, that's disrespectful.
No, it was worse than that. They were stupid.
That's what I'm thinking. They didn't know. Maybe they didn't even realize.
Well, when I do my nightly review, I have to say I was nice to the 80% of people I came across today who I think are idiots.
Well, that's good.
That's not on my best days.
There are videos up of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and there they have a sentry all the time, 24 hours a day. And there's videos of the sentry yelling at people who cross over, try to do something on the gravestone, or eat, like sit down, have a picnic, and he's like, nope, you're not allowed to do that. And then they start to argue with him, at which point he starts screaming at them and holds his weapon with a bayonet. And I'm like, you're about to die if you mess around with this person. And then they finally move. I've been no, I was kind of curious if they had anything for the Wehrmacht, because they were like really hated at the end of the war. But I guess the United States the military tried to be how can I say it, appropriate with them, even though the battles were so horrible. I was like, how did they ever make the switch and say, okay, now we have to be nice to the Germans?
Well, yeah, there were, I mean, there were atrocities, right, where they
Oh my
captured
God.
like hundreds of thousands of German soldiers and executed them in mass.
Oh, we did that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's just what war is, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting in all these debates with people about Ukraine war, and I mean, I don't even take sides. I'm just like, look, that's what war does to people. It makes people commit atrocities. You know, it's like you never have two sides fighting a really nasty war where people are getting their heads blown off and stuff, and they're like choir boys. That never happens. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
an
no.
expert, but you know, I mean, it's just the nature of war. It's just,
Yeah. No, I
you know,
get it. Yeah.
um,
Oh, are there any, do you see any swastikas around?
no, but I'll tell you what, you wouldn't believe how many people are anti-Israel here.
Oh,
Oh, I
really?
think I would.
Yeah, it's because you know, like one thing I noticed when the October 7th thing happened in Israel is I don't care if you're right-wing populist or socialist or center, all Europeans from all sides of the political spectrum, they all say, I'm not anti-Semitic, I just don't like Israel. And it's the only genocide all are
Yeah.
screaming out about.
Yeah.
But they all, I mean, I've lost good friends over Israel. I
Oh
got
my God.
blocked because I was like,
Oh.
well, you know, they're defending against Hamas. You're psychotic. This is over, block.
Yeah, I know.
You really see the anti-Semitism here. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, when Trump put in the first ban on Muslims coming to the United States, and people would say, "Well, what do you think of that?" Da, 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 da. And I said, "Look, I said I really don't have any problems with Muslims. I just don't like the idea when they come here to blow shit up." And they're like, "Ah, that's what we're talking about. You know, you're xenophobic," and I'm like, "Well, what's that?"
Well, I was just at a barbecue with some of my biker buddies, and one of them was wearing a French beret. I go, why are you wearing that French beret? It was like a classic one. He goes, because I'm protesting all the Islamic atrocities happening in France of Islamists are killing priests, cutting their heads off, stabbing kids at school. It's like, I mean, there's all this shit happening where Muslims are literally massacring French people and they don't do anything.
Let's see what else. Oh, and okay, so now you have some.
What about you, Kelly?
Yeah, I was gonna just hop in on that.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood, I have 2 mosques within 5 minutes of my house.
Wow.
I also have a synagogue about 7 minutes walk from here, and I've got a Catholic church right around the corner. And there's no problems amongst any of us. It's all due to mutual respect.
When the Iraq, when the after 9/11, here in Boulder we have the University of Colorado, and then we have Muslim students that come here from all the Middle Eastern countries, and as soon as it happened, within a week or two, the university and the FBI deported almost all the Middle Eastern Muslim students, got them out for quote unquote for their own protection. But being a news person, I'm like, that is not exactly it. Partially true, but and then we had some professors here that had moved on to southern Florida, and they were arrested, Muslim professors, clerics that were arrested like in Florida, and it was all kept quiet in the news. And I'm reading this and I'm like, is nobody going to talk about this? And then you go look the guy up, and they were pro, one guy writes an article in the local paper about how the United States deserved to have the World Trade Centers bombed. And I was like, the university fired him. He was gone in like a week. And I was like, whoa. And then the FBI we have an FBI office here in Boulder, and I think there are 2 or 3 mosques. They were in those mosques every single day for like probably 6 months. Right? I mean, directly after the bombing, like within a week, they were there, and they didn't say anything about it, and they denied it. But the chief of police told me that they were there, and I said, "So what's the deal?" I said, "Well, they want to keep an eye on out." I'm like, "Oh," but nobody talked about that either, JT, because this is hippie liberal Boulder.
Well, don't
Which,
get me wrong. So I'm the leader of the tax team, and I've got 2 Muslim lawyers on my team. They're ladies, and they're really nice, really good. They don't wear the thing.
yeah,
They're practicing, they practice Ramadan, and
yeah.
they like to date Western guys. So
When Ramadan came on, I'd be on my TV show, would be Ramadan. So I'd have a bunch of top ramen soup, and I'd say, "What is the story with Muslims? Their obsession with top ramen. I mean, will somebody please call me and tell me why do they create a holiday around top ramen?" And so I'd have some hot top ramen, and people would call me and they'd say, "Jen, you idiot. You idiot. It's not top ramen." I said, "Yes, it is."
JT.
You're gonna have a fatwa against you, man.
yeah,
That's when you have it.
so you're gonna have.
You're gonna be like Salman Rushdie, dude.
Well,
Knock
you're
it
gonna
off,
have to
man.
go.
Oh, look, I have I'll wear it to a meeting. I'll wear it sometime for you, JT. I have a Been to Mecca scarf, the white and red checkered one. And then I would come on and be Jan the terrorist. And
All right, I'm gonna go eat pizza and watch hockey. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you, Kelly.
Bye bye, y'all.
comedy.
Good
Okay,
chat.
Bye. The whole meeting left, except for JT and Missy.
We're the hardcore ones. We like.
So I have this friend, right? He's from India.
Kelly just was like, "Nah, I can't hang anymore." Kelly tried to stay. Kelly tried to hang, but he couldn't do it anymore. You guys went over the edge again. He was like,
Where's Kelly go?
I'm gonna wear that sometime with my eyes stuck out. I used to hold a fake RPG and talk about blowing shit up.
"Oh God."
JT, you would have liked it. It's like one of my more fun shows. The college kids thought it was hysterical. So the older normal adults were horrified. That is terrible. That is so disrespectful. I'm like, no.
Especially in Australia, if you say one racist thing, you would be locked up. They'd be on the news. You'd have your job taken off you. So the things you are saying, that's why like Australians especially would be. That's why I'm laughing, because what you're saying would be locked up in Australia for saying this. This is why I laugh, because I can't believe you're saying it.
Oh yeah, screaming Allah Akbar. I'm gonna blow up your television, and the college kids, they would all call it. They were in hysterics. I had one guy, my friend he's from India, so he worked on my TV show. And he would put on the Mecca scarf and sunglasses, and we would introduce him as Muhammad. And I'd say, Muhammad is a Muslim and he is a terrorist. And he said, Muhammad wants to change the name of the United States to Mohammedstan. So I'd say, well, why do you want to do that? He'd go on about it should be changed. And he started talking about Sharia law and putting women in their place. It was just insane, just hysterical. People would call up and scream at him. They say, "You don't have a lot of fans, Mohammed." This is television. Theater.
If you put it on YouTube, I'll like it.
I'll go down. No way. We're all going to go down for that. Oh yeah, Missy Australia nurse associated with that, mate. I'm gone.
I should do a few comedic pieces like that. Oh my God.
Like Jerry Seinfeld said, you're not allowed to laugh at stuff anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. That's it. Exactly. Like, it's true. Like, Australia, you can't say it. If I'm seen like going along with it, even laughing, I'm gone too. It's like real hardcore in Australia at the moment.
Hey, I have a question. Somebody asked me where Chaz is. Have you talked to her at all? Is she okay?
She's having her other eye done. She's at her. She had one done. Yeah, I forgot two. She's been opening my she's been opening my messages every morning, but I haven't heard from her since I've come back home. But I know she was having her other eye done, so she's going to be out of action for a few weeks at her son's couch.
I've had that happen before.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I better go to bed. It's like 1 a.m. here.
Oui, s'il vous plaît. Je m'appelle.
Okay. Bye.
Ici.
Cheerio for now then.
Bye. Au revoir.
I'll be in touch.
Goodbye.
Okay. Bye, JT. See you, Big Cat.
Bye, the
JC. Bye, Big Cat.
Bye. Goodbye to the
the cat.
surfing beach.
Assalamu alaikum.
Aloha snack bar. Okay.
Assalamualaikum, shalom.
Wa alaikum assalam.
That's right. That's